Hello, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Angela Shows You. I'm not really showing anything today, but I did want to hop on for a couple minutes and talk about runners and races. So, if you are newer maybe to running, or you're preparing to run a first race, or maybe you've run races before but you are looking to get into a little bit of longer distance races, fun but a little bit scary. So let's talk a little bit about how to prepare for races. First and foremost, you want to get a good night's sleep the night before. You don't want to show up to a race, especially a race that happens in the morning. You don't want to show up tired. So try your best to quell those pre-race jitters the night before and get a good night's sleep. If I'm traveling to a race, if you can swing it, it is helpful to spend the night before a race in the town where the race is happening if it's far away. So, like for example, I live in Rochester, New York, and we participate in races in Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is only about an hour drive. However, the race that we participate in starts at 6:30 in the morning, so it's an early race. So we like to go the day before, and we get a hotel and we go to the race expo and pick up our packets, shop around, because some of the bigger races will have a really great like health and wellness expo, and they've got all kinds of things that they sell. There some races have, like they do nutrition products and shoes and clothes and just you name it. They can really be a lot of fun to attend. But so we like to go to Buffalo the day before the race and, spend the night. We go out to eat and just relax. That way, race morning, we don't have to get up that much earlier to head out, because the race starts at 6:30 in the morning. So if you think about, you have to get your packet, you have to you have to find a spot to park, you have to get your packet. So if a race for us, that race, if it starts at 6:30 in the morning and it's an hour drive, that automatically puts you at 5:30, but you can't leave your house at 5:30 because the race starts at 6:30. So you would have to leave at 5 o'clock. That's not enough time because you still have to find a spot to park. You have to get your packet. You have to get your bib so you can run. So that would mean leaving our house 4:30 at the latest, probably 4 o'clock. That means I'm getting up at 3 o'clock. That's a long, that's a long day. So we choose to rent a hotel and stay. Just a little something to think about if you're traveling for a race. If it's a little bit of a distance from your house, and if it starts as early as that, it might be worth considering, looking for a hotel in the area and just spending the night. And that takes a little bit of stress off that next morning of all that running around, leaving your house, driving there, finding a spot to park. It can be a lot. So, train. You're going to want to train for a race. Even if you are doing a little bit of a shorter distance, if you're doing a 5K, and you might think, well, but that's, some people think it's only 3 miles, where other people think, oh my gosh, it's 3 miles. So train. You want to be comfortable running the distance that you're getting ready to race in, especially if you're racing for a time. So if you are newer to like 5K races and you want to really push yourself, you're going to want to train. You're going to want to get out at least a few weeks ahead of time and start preparing for this race that you're about to do. Start maybe with walk run intervals, and then, make the walk shorter and the runs longer. And the closer you get to the race day, you're running longer. It gives your feet, time on pavement, your legs to get used to it. If you're not used to running and all of a sudden you go out and you just, barrel out 3 miles, your body is going to feel it, especially the next day. So if this isn't something that you're used to, I would highly recommend training. If you have a Garmin, I can't speak to Apple Watches and Fitbits, but I have a Garmin, and Garmin actually, on their Garmin Connect app, they have training programs. So it's free. So if you're looking to do 10Ks or half marathons, I don't know if they have a full marathon training on Garmin, but Garmin, and it'll ask you, what's your distance, what's the date of the race, how many days a week are you looking to train, and then it will offer you up, okay, do this on this day, run this distance on this day, do it at this pace, and the watch yourself will give you cues. So take advantage of that if you have a wearable that you are looking to use, and make the most of the investment that you've put in when you bought the watch. Look for the training that you get right in your app. There's also, you can buy training books. If you look on Amazon, if you go to Barnes and Noble, you can find books. And maybe you're a pen to paper type person and you want a book, and you want to make yourself notes on paper that you can flip back and look back at. So there's books out there, or you might go online and print something out, and then you've got your pen to paper that you've printed out of some sort of a training program that you can keep track of. How did I feel? Maybe you're trying out some new shoes and you want to keep track. How did my feet feel in these shoes? How did my feet feel in these shoes? Or socks. How did these socks make my feet feel? How did these shorts, did they rub funny? Maybe I don't want to wear these, for a race. I know people who have several pairs of running sneakers, and they wear certain shoes training that they don't wear on runs because the shoe just doesn't work for them on a race, where it's fine to run 3 or 5 miles on a training run. Something else to consider. Speaking of shoes, don't wear a new pair of shoes on race day. Even if, I wear Brooks Ghost and Brooks Launch. Even if I say, okay, I've been wearing Launches now, and I've got a new pair sitting in my closet, don't get that pair out of your closet and wear them on race day. You want to at least wear a shoe a couple of times before you wear it on a race. Trust me on that. Pace yourself. Don't go like a bat out of hell at the start line. It's very easy to do. You get caught up in the excitement and the vibe, and everybody's just taking off, and you go, and then all of a sudden, half a mile in, you're like, I can barely breathe. You feel like your heart is just going to pound right out of your chest. Pace yourself. It's okay to take it a little bit slower out of the gate. It's it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the start whistle and that go. And, there's tons of people around you and they're all just taking off and you're like, oh, but if you've never run in a race before, you maybe want to be someone who starts off a little bit slower, maintain your pace so that you can go farther longer. Or you may be of the mindset that, okay, I'm going to start off, way fast and pull myself back a little bit in mile 2 or mile 3. I think that that's maybe something that you might need to play with, but my advice is pace yourself. Don't take off too fast unless that's your strategy that works for you. But if you're new, I would say if you've trained, try and stick with that pace and try not to let the people that around you move you faster than you feel comfortable with, to where you're going to be out of breath and tired and then feel like you're not going to be able to finish. Nobody wants that. So when I talked a minute ago about, maybe keeping some sort of journal with how did the shoes or the socks or the shorts feel, you want to wear on race day, you want to wear something that you've worn before. Just like your shoes, you don't want to wear a new pair of shoes on race day. You don't want to wear a new pair of shorts or a new tank top either. You don't want something brand new because you don't know how that particular garment is going to work with you. Probably more especially shorts. Like you don't know, like how are they gonna fit around the waist? Are they gonna get, too tight? Do they even fit right? And you're not gonna know that if you're just sliding in on and starting a race. You're not gonna know, how does this particular clothing item fit me? Is the waist comfortable? Do the shorts have seams, especially if you wear, like, if you're a lady and you wear tights, do the tights have a seam in them that's gonna rub on your thighs and be uncomfortable? So don't wear anything new on race day. At least wear it once or twice prior, preferably on a training run, to see, how does this feel on my skin, just to make sure that it's comfortable and it's not going to cause you any irritation while you're out there pushing yourself a little bit more during a race than you would on a training run. Don't overdress. You don't want to overheat while you're running. Your blood's going to get pumping. You're going to warm up. So it may be 50 or 60 degrees out when you're leaving for the race that starts in an hour from now. What's the weather going to be like in an hour from now, in an hour and a half from now? Is it going to jump up to 70? You want to make sure that you've got shorts and a light tank top on. Don't wear capris and a t-shirt because it's cold now, because it's going to warm up later, and or you're going to warm up as you're exerting yourself in a running manner, and then you're going to overheat, and that's not good either. So think of dressing as if it's 10 to 15 degrees warmer. And this holds true even in the winter time. Yes, you want to dress warmer in the wintertime. You want long pants. You want probably, a base layer and a long shirt on. You want some kind of breathable running jacket. But you also want to make sure that if you're racing, like I know for me, if I'm doing a race and it's 20 degrees out, I just want light tights, where when I'm training, maybe I wear fleece lined tights or I wear taller wool socks. But I don't want that when I'm racing, because I'm running faster and I'm warming up. Now, I will say, like for me, I'll be cold probably for about the first mile, and then all of a sudden I've warmed up. A lot of times while I'm in a race in the wintertime, I'll take my jacket off and I'll tie it around my waist because I've warmed up now and I'm ready to shed a layer. So that's something to consider too, that, you know, maybe if you are running in the cooler weather, you might want to take a jacket that you can slide off easy and that has maybe a little bit thinner arms that you can tie right around your waist. So as you're finishing, you've got your jacket and then you have it on you, so that when you're done and you start cooling off, you can throw that jacket back on easily. Eat light before your race. A banana is usually a good option. I would say 30 to 45 minutes before the race, a banana, maybe some toast, with maybe a light coating of peanut butter, is a good option. But your pre-race nutrition is extremely a personalized item. What works for some people definitely does not work for a lot. Some people can eat dairy, they can eat yogurt, they can eat cheese. Other people, that kind of stuff upsets their stomach when they start running and they're like, oh my goodness, you don't want to risk any GI distress. So that's again something that while you're training, you're going to want to play around a little bit with nutrition. I had mentioned in a previous video, I can't drink Gatorade while I'm running, especially in the warmer weather. That was during our talk about electrolytes. Now, many people can drink Gatorade while they're running and they're totally fine. So you want to kind of play around a little bit and experiment. What can I drink that doesn't bother me? What can I eat that doesn't bother me? If you're doing a longer race and you need to consume some nutrition during the race, what's going to fit in your backpack or your pouch that you can have on you when you're feeling the need, but then what is that item? Some people like the sport bean jelly beans. Other people like the goo, or some of the others. Some people can have like the blocks. You want to play around with those a little bit and see, on the sport beans or the blocks, those require chewing. Can you, if you're racing, can you chew and breathe? Because if you're chewing, you need to breathe through your mouth. Or, if you're chewing, you need to breathe through your nose. So can you do that while you're racing? So again, all things that you want to play around with a little bit and see, is this something that does this work for me, or do I need to try something else? And on the nutrition front, don't eat anything new the day before either. If you're going out to dinner, you might not want to go out to a Mexican restaurant, because you have to think about what your digestive system is going to go through at night and the next morning. Does pasta tend to sit heavy in your stomach? Well, then maybe you don't want to have a big pasta dinner the night before, if that's something that's going to sit heavy in your system the next day. Maybe you want something a little bit more protein. Maybe you want chicken and vegetables. Maybe you want pizza, which still is carby, but maybe not quite as much as pasta. So these are all things that you're going to want to consider as you're getting ready for race day. Some things may seem minor, but if you're new or you're looking, for some what's not working, then, these are things that hopefully you find helpful. So if you did find any or all of this information helpful, I do hope that you'll consider giving me a thumbs up. Let me know. If you have something that's tried and true for you, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you have something that didn't work for you, please leave a comment in the comment section. Let people know what works, what doesn't work. Just because some things have worked for me doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to work for other people. Maybe I forgot something. So please feel free to leave a comment and let me and others know what works, what doesn't work. What do you like? Do you travel for races? What do you think about staying overnight prior to a race? It's also a great opportunity to pick a destination, and it gives you an opportunity to travel and see, maybe see some other parts of the country and be a little bit of a tourist while you're at it. So please thumbs up, and please feel free to leave comments and let everybody else know your experiences and all your thoughts. Have a wonderful day.